Some foreign workers ignore Social Security until something goes wrong. At first, it looks like a payslip line, a deduction, a cost, a local HR detail. But the issue may appear later at a hospital, during a labor dispute, at departure, or when renewal records need to show a coherent employment history. Social Security should not be treated only as a monthly deduction. It is part of the employment record. The first check is local applicability. Social Security for foreign workers can depend on city, nationality, treaty arrangements, employment structure, and local implementation. This is why general statements can be misleading. The right question is not only, do foreigners pay Social Security in China? The better question is, for this city, this nationality, this employer, and this employment structure, what applies? The second check is the five-system idea. Social Security can include pension, medical, unemployment, work injury, and maternity-related systems, depending on local implementation. Each element has a different purpose. Medical insurance may affect public medical reimbursement. Work injury coverage may matter if something happens at work. Pension and departure handling may matter in long-term planning or when leaving China. The third check is treaty or exemption. Some countries have bilateral Social Security agreements with China that may create exemptions for certain nationals and categories. But an exemption is not just a casual statement. It usually needs to be checked against nationality, category, documents, and local handling. The fourth check is medical access. Foreign workers may not think about medical insurance until they need care. If medical insurance was not handled as expected, the problem appears at a stressful moment, not during a planning meeting. The fifth check is payroll consistency. Payroll, individual income tax, contract, work permit, residence status, and Social Security records should tell one coherent employment story. If salary is paid one way, tax records say another thing, the contract says another title, and Social Security is missing or inconsistent. Later review can become harder. The sixth check is employer handling. Who inside the company is responsible? HR, payroll vendor, accountant, local branch office? A foreign employee may assume the employer is handling everything correctly, but if the employer has little experience with foreign staff, the Social Security side may not be aligned with the work status file. The seventh check is renewal or departure. During renewal, records may need to support the idea that the employment was real and consistent. At departure, the worker may need to understand account handling, possible withdrawal or transfer issues, and local practice. Here is how the gap appears. A foreign employee negotiates take-home salary. During onboarding, they focus on the net amount. They do not ask much about the Social Security line because it feels like a local payroll detail. Months later, they get sick and go to a public medical setting. They discover the medical side was not handled in the way they expected. Later, during renewal, the employment file also needs to show one coherent story: contract, payroll, tax, work permit, residence status, and Social Security records. The issue is no longer only the deduction, it is the record behind the deduction. The framework to save is Social Security check. 1. Local rule. What applies in this city and employment structure? 2. Treaty or exemption. Does the worker's nationality and category qualify for a specific arrangement? 3. Payroll consistency. Do salary, tax, contract, and Social Security records align? 4. Medical and work injury access. What happens if the worker needs care or has a workplace incident? 5. Renewal and departure records. Will the record support future procedures and exit handling? The lesson: Social Security is not only a cost line. For foreign workers in China, it can connect to medical access, labor protection, payroll credibility, tax consistency, and future status records. There is one more reason this matters: negotiation. Foreign employees often negotiate salary by focusing on net take-home pay. That is understandable, but it can hide the structure behind the number. Two offers with the same take-home amount may have different employer contributions, tax treatment, social security handling, benefits, and record quality. If the employer tries to keep everything informal to increase take-home pay, the worker may gain cash now, but lose record strength later. For founders hiring foreign staff, the issue works in the other direction. A company that wants to employ foreigners should build a payroll and social security story that matches contracts, tax filings, bank payments, and work status records. Otherwise, renewal or dispute situations may expose gaps. So the question is not only how much is deducted, it is, does the whole employment record make sense? This is the same connected file logic from the work permit episodes. One record rarely stands alone. The employment contract says one salary and role. Payroll shows payments. Tax records show withholding. Social Security shows local participation or a checked exemption. The work permit and residence permit show the legal basis for employment and stay. When these records align, the employment story is stronger. When they conflict, the worker may not feel the problem immediately, but the gap can surface during renewal, dispute, hospital use, audit, or departure. So Social Security should be reviewed before it becomes an emergency. The best time to check it is during offer review and onboarding, when the structure can still be corrected. After conflict starts, correction is harder. Is monthly withholding the whole story? For many foreign workers, it is not. Seeing tax deducted every month can create a false sense of closure. The payslip shows that something was withheld. The employee assumes tax is handled. The employer has payroll. Money was deducted, so the story must be complete.